Welcome to another Cartney Scam and Ripoff video. Our topic is Before You Pitch Your Music to a Music Library. Our guest is Adonis Tsilimparis.
Hi everyone, my name is Adonis. I am a music supervisor. I work in sync licensing. I'm also a composer. I have a long history in this industry. Started out playing in bands, guitar player. Then I moved into scoring. Then I've done more sync licensing, and lately I've been focusing more on music supervision. I've worked on a bunch of shows. Right now I'm doing some freelance work with a label called Nacional Records, where we place music into films, shows, video games. And I also do, I work as a music supervisor as a freelancer on the side as well.
So, Adonis, what exactly is a music library?
So a music library is basically literally a library of music. So a music supervisor that's looking for a whole bunch of hip hop, songs for a movie, they're going to most likely go to a library that they know, a library that they know is good, and they're going to call them. And they're going to be like, look, I need 40 tracks of this. A lot of them have interactive site where the music supervisor can go on there and surf and browse through all the tracks themselves. So that's the main purpose of it. And if your stuff sounds good, there's a good chance it'll be placed because they are constantly in touch with the productions and the films and the supervisors and the like filmmakers.
What should artists know right up front about these libraries?
Okay, there are two different types of libraries. There are exclusive libraries and there are non-exclusive ones. The non-exclusive ones mean that you can pitch your song to them. They can take it in their library, but you can also take the same song and hand it to another library. Now you might think, oh, that's great because then I can spread spread my chances. It's actually not a good idea because non-exclusive libraries are not as highly respected. They don't get as much placement. Why? Because a lot of productions don't want that song in their movie in 100 other things. So they prefer to deal with exclusive libraries. So your chances are better with an exclusive library. All that means is that if you give a song to one library, you cannot give it to another library. It doesn't mean that you cannot actually pitch it to a film or something. It has nothing to do with your Spotify or your iTunes or your albums. That's all it means. So that's very important.
Does your song need to be reviewed before it's accepted?
Of course, yeah. You're basically submitting it and they will listen to it and they will say yay or nay. And then they're going to ask you for an instrumental version and stems. And if it's a good exclusive library, there's a very good chance that it'll get placed. A very good chance.
How do you know a good library from a bad one?
Again, do your research, find out, make sure they're exclusive. Look at their site, see what sort of placements they have gotten. If you see a lot of placements, it's very, very impressive. Find out how long they've been around. Ones that have only been around for a couple of years are still new. It takes many years to get established. If they're more than 10 years old, then you're in good shape. If they've been around for 20, 30 years, you're in really good shape. Again, talk to some people whom you know. Get as much information as you possibly can.
Is charging for adding your song to a library a red flag?
That's a serious red flag. Just run away. Another red flag, which I've come across, a couple of libraries are trying to do this now. They're trying to ask for a percentage of the master. Please run away from that. We are fighting. I'm part of the Guild of Music Supervisors, and we're fighting to do that. I'm also a member of the Society of Composers and Lyricists, and we're trying to fight to help to protect composers. So if you see any library asking you for money or asking you for a percentage of your master, run away, please.
Some libraries are passive and some are more aggressive, right?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier. Some are more prominent than others. There are some libraries that only do streaming stuff, YouTube. Those are okay. You want to go with bigger ones that deal with films and television, everything. They run the whole gambit. You want them, and I'm not really allowed to be to be saying library names and plugging them. So Yeah, but if you type in music libraries, you'll see some of the big ones on top when you search. Yeah, make sure it's them.
How do I know if my song is right for film?
Well, there's a big difference between music for advertisements, music for films, music for films will tend to be more scoring like. There'll be more orchestral stuff, and that's why they'll hire a composer most of the time. A song for a movie will tend to be something more dramatic, something that's more, epic sounding. It depends. Again, it depends on the film. It might be a movie about urban life, and they need all hip hop. Like some films don't have any scoring; it's all soundtrack. So it depends on the movie. Uh, the best advice I can give to any composer is don't think about, oh, I should write something for the. Just write what you write. Just be you, and your song will fit for whatever it fits. Just have faith, as they say. Just write what you write.
Do they need every style of music?
Every style. I've gotten briefs for the weirdest thing you can possibly imagine. I get a lot of briefs. I've gotten briefs for polka music. I've gotten briefs for Arabic hip hop. You know, Chinese hip hop. Just weird stuff all the time. So every genre can get in there somehow. And hip hop is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So anyone out there who thinks that hip hop, well, I can't do music for film and TV because I do hip hop. No, hip hop is huge, man.
That concludes our video titled Before You Pitch Your Music to a Music Library. We want to thank Adonis Tsilimparis for sharing his in-depth knowledge and expertise.